Close your eyes and look at the life you've built in your head. It's magnificent, isn't it? At 18, your mind is the most expensive real estate on Earth. You're not just a student or a teenager. In your head, you are already the CEO, the artist, the traveler, the innovator. You can see the sunlight hitting the floor of that apartment you haven't bought yet. You can feel the weight of the award you haven't won. You can hear the applause of a crowd that hasn't met you. You have these big dreams. They aren't just thoughts. They are vivid, high-definition movies. You possess a hunger that scares you and an ambition that keeps you awake at 3 a.m. You feel like a statistical anomaly, destined for something so grand that the ordinary world feels like a tight suit that doesn't fit anymore. You are standing on the starting line of a race, and you're convinced you were born to win it. But then, you open your eyes. You look at the laptop screen, the blank application forms, the crossroads of a dozen different careers. And suddenly, the movie stops. The high-definition dream turns into a static noise. You have the ambition, but you don't have the map. You have the engine, but you don't have the steering wheel. And this is where the quiet terror kicks in. You feel like a failure because you don't know what you want. You want success, but you don't know which flavor. You want impact, but you don't know which field. You are 18, and for the first time in your life, the next step isn't a grade you have to pass or a door someone else opens for you. It's an ocean, and you're standing on the shore, terrified that if you pick the wrong direction and start swimming, you'll drown before you realize you were meant for a different continent. There is a specific kind of grief that 18-year-olds feel. It's the grief for the versions of yourself you haven't even met yet. To choose one thing feels like murdering 1,000 other possibilities. If you choose science, the musician in you dies. If you choose business, the philosopher in you disappears. So you do what most of us do. You freeze. You wait for a sign. You wait for clarity. You become an architect of ghost cities, planning lives you never live, imagining routines you never start, and building futures that only exist in the clouds. You're terrified of being average, but you're so afraid of making the wrong move that you make no move at all. And the clock keeps ticking. 18 turns into 19. 19 turns into 20. And the gap between who you are and who you imagined becomes a canyon. Let me tell you something that the education system, your parents, and social media won't tell you. Not knowing what you want at 18 is not a bug. It is the main feature of being human. Biologically, your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that handles complex decision-making and long-term consequences, isn't even finished cooking yet. It won't be ready until you're 25. You are literally trying to run software that hasn't been fully installed. Society demands that you pick a destiny before you've even had a chance to see the world. It's like being asked to pick your favorite meal for the rest of your life when you've only ever eaten at one restaurant. The pressure you feel isn't because you're failing, it's because the expectations are insane. You are not lost. You are in the data collection phase. And in this data collection phase, you make the most dangerous mistake possible. You open your phone. You scroll through a feed of 19-year-old millionaires, 20-year-old startup founders, and successful peers who seem to have cracked the code of life while you're still trying to figure out how to write a cover letter. You are looking at their edited final cut while you are living through your messy, unscripted, behind the scenes. You're comparing your internal chaos to their external curated perfection, and that math will never make you feel whole. We've been sold a toxic myth of the child prodigy. We've been told that if you haven't made it by 21, you're just background noise. But social media is a graveyard of context. You see the finish line, but you don't see the miles of blistered feet and the moments of crushing self-doubt that came before it. You feel like you're late to a race that hasn't even started yet. But life isn't a 100-meter dash. It's a marathon where the route changes every 5 miles. You aren't behind. You're just on page 3 of a 500-page book. This is the era of choice paralysis. 100 years ago, you had 3 paths: the factory, the farm, or the trade. Today, you are standing in a hallway with 1,000 glowing doors, and every door promises a different, best version of you. You're terrified to walk through one because you think it means locking the other 999 forever. You're afraid of being average in a world that worships the extraordinary. But let me tell you, average is not a death sentence. It is a baseline. The most interesting people you will ever meet are the ones who change their skin like a snake every few years until they found the one that actually fit. Your life is not an hourglass where the sand is running out. Your life is a garden, and right now it is planting season. You cannot demand a harvest from a seed you just put in the ground. You are trying to pick the fruit before the tree has even grown its first branch. This frantic urge to be someone is actually preventing you from becoming someone. Stop trying to win the game before you've even learned the rules. Breathe. Your world is not going to end if you don't have a 10-year plan by next Tuesday. We are obsessed with the idea of the right path. We think there is one golden door that leads to our best life, and if we miss it, we're doomed to a life of regret. But here's the secret. There is no right path. There are only paths and what you do with them. At 18, you shouldn't be looking for your calling. You should be looking for your curiosities. A calling is heavy. It's a burden. A curiosity is light. You can pick it up, look at it, and put it back down if it's boring. The most successful people you know didn't find their way by sitting in the rooms and thinking. They found their way by doing things they were only 20% sure about. They took imperfect action. They started businesses that failed. They studied degrees they never used. And every wrong turn was actually a necessary lesson that pointed them toward the right one. So, how do you stop the freezing? How do you move when the future is a thick fog? You stop trying to see the horizon. You just look at your feet. Stop telling yourself, I'll start when I know what I'm doing. You will never know what you're doing. Even the 40-year-olds around you are mostly winging it. The difference is, they've learned to be comfortable with the uncertainty. The only cure for the fear of the future is the work of the present. Ambition without action is just a fancy word for anxiety. If you have big plans, prove it to yourself by doing the smallest possible version of that plan today. Want to be a filmmaker? Shoot a 10-second video on your phone. Want to be a billionaire? Learn how to sell one thing to one person. Want to change the world? Start by changing the state of your room. You are 18. You are young. You are hungry. And you are brilliantly, beautifully lost. That isn't a tragedy. It's an opportunity. The unknown is the only place where something new can happen. If your future was already written, it would be a prison. Because it's blank, it's a canvas. Don't be afraid of the unknown future. Be afraid of the known present where you never dared to try. Big dreams are the fuel, but small steps are the wheels. The map will reveal itself as you walk, not a moment before. So take the first step, not because you know where it leads, but because you're brave enough to find out. POV. You're 18, and the future is unknown. And for the first time, you realize that's exactly how it's supposed to be. If this resonates with you, or you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and subscribe. This helps us see your reaction and encourages us to keep creating more content for you.